This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Today, Yud Beis Kislev is the Yahrtzeit of the Bas Ayin, Rav Avraham Doiv of Avraham, the Rav in Tzfas. We were Zoicha about a year ago to be in his shul. We actually said a Divrei Torah, recorded in his shul. We were at his kever in Tzfas, B'Maka Menuchasai. And we have other shiurim recorded from the Bas Ayin over the past year. Pesach time, we said over something very nice from the Bas Ayin. But we want to say over now from the drasha the Bas Ayin gave for Parshas Vayeshev Shabbos Chanukah on page Kuf Lametes. He brings down a Yesod that the purpose of Brias HaOlam is to take the world out of the state of Tohu. The Torah says that before the world was created, V'ha'aretz ha'isa sohu v'avayu v'choshech al pnei sahaim. And not until the Rebbeinu Shalom said Vayihi Ar was the world extricated from the state of Tohu. So one would think that immediately when the Rebbeinu Shalom said Vayihi Ar, the world was taken out of the state of Tohu, but says the Bas Ayin, no. The world was not taken out of Tohu until Chanukah. The time of Chanukah, that's when the world will emerge from this status of Tohu. Perhaps we could bring a remez to this idea and add to the idea of the Bas Ayin that actually when the pasuk says Vayomer Elokim Yehi Ar, surprisingly it doesn't say Vayihi Chen like it says by every other aspect of the Bria. Every other time it says Vayomer Elokim Yehi Rakia, Vayihi Chen, Vayomer Elokim Yehi Ma'oros, Vayihi Chen. But by the Ar it doesn't say Vayihi Chen. It says Vayomer Elokim Yehi Ar, Vayihi Ar, but not Vayihi Chen. Because the idea is Hashem wanted to create a special light, the Ar Haganos, but it couldn't be. The world could not, was not on the Madrega to be able to appreciate this Ar, so Hashem had to put it away. It says the Malbim, not until Aaron HaKohen lit the menorah, and it says Vayas Kain Aaron. Aaron brought back the Kain of the Vayehi Kain that it should have said by Brias HaOlam. So Chanukah is the Hashlama of taking the world out of the status of Tohu. However, it says the Bas Ayin, the beginning of the flourishing and the glimmer of Chanukah began from the time of Avraham Avinu. He quotes the Magid in the Sefer Maranayim in Parshas Miketz, when Avraham Avinu said, Neilcha ad koi. The word koi in the statement of Avraham was a remez to Chafei Kislev, a remez to Chanukah. This is the deeper meaning of what Chazal say. Eila toldos hashamayim v'ha'aretz bihi baram. These are the products of heaven and earth when Hashem created. Al tikri bihi baram ela Avraham. That the world was created for Avraham. But, says the Bas Ayin, this is a perfect remez to what we're saying. Because the Rashi Tevos of toldos hashamayim v'ha'aretz are Tohu. Eila toldos hashamayim v'aretz, the world was Tohu. Not until Bihi Baram, Avraham, was the world taken out of the state of Tohu. In fact, the gematria of Avraham, we know is 248. But Bihi Baram, Avraham, is 250. Gematria Ner, also a remez to the fact that Avraham Avinu was the Tchilas, Tzmichas, and Haschala of the miracle of Chanukah. And he says, this was Niska, this was fixed through Avraham Avinu, and he was Mekayim, when Avraham was Mekayim, the mitzvah of Bris Milah, which was also Mekayim the world. We could add Bris Milah also, the Navi prophecies with the word Koi. Koi Amar Hashem, Imloi Brisi, Yoima Valayla, Chuka Shemayim V'aretz Leisamti. So the truth is, says the Bas Ayin, the beginning of Chanukah began from Avraham Avinu, especially when he started to bring people Tachas Kanfei Hashchina. Now, what age did Avraham start to bring people Tachas Kanfei Hashchina? Very interestingly, the Gemara says the first 2,000 years of creation were Yemei Tohu. And Avraham Avinu ushers in the 2,000 years of Torah. That means at what age did Avraham begin to usher in the years of Torah and take the world out of Tohu? We know Avraham was born in the year 1948. That means he was 52 years old. At 52 years old, Avraham Avinu begins to take the world out of the state of Tohu. Now, Avraham Avinu does it by bringing people Tachas Kanfei Hashchina. Where is Avraham sitting when he's bringing the people Tachas Kanfei Hashchina? Vayero Elav Hashem Be'eloinei Mamrei V'hu Yoshev Pesach HaOyel. Says the Bas Ayin that if Avraham was the beginning of the miracle of Chanukah and the glimmer of Chanukah, and Avraham brought the world out of Tohu by teaching the world Torah, which he did from where? Mi Pesach Ahaloi. Therefore, where do we light the Ner Chanukah? Also, we light the Ner Chanukah Mi Pesach Ahaloi. That's why the Gemara says in Shabbos, Mitzvahs Ner Chanukah Al Pesach Habayis Mi Bachutz. Just like Avraham Avinu, who said Neilcha Ad Koi, who was the beginning of the flourishing and the glimmer of the miracle of Chanukah. May we be Zoicha that through the Yom Tov of Chanukah, the Rebbeinu Shem should bring us the light of the Aragonos and the Gula Shlema. And on this holy day, Yud Beis Kislev, the Yahrtzeit of the Bas Ayin, may the Rebbeinu Shem be Meir, Einehem, Shal Yisrael, B'Tayrasoi, U'Vishuasoi, Yizachar Baruch, and Shiur Meltz Yosef for Klal Yisrael, Ad Bias Gol Tzedek.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.